Hey girls. Okay, so I'm going to upload this on YouTube so that you can watch it. So I'm just going to do a really quick video on basically doing my makeup, but I'm going to give you some tips along the way for yourself to have confidence when you're doing your own makeup, of course, for your Aloette parties and for your hostesses, right? So I'm not going to explain each of the products because, I mean, it's not a training video on like, this is flawless, this is for this. It's more like this is the steps to apply it and some tips on how to blend it and techniques and things like that, okay? Of course, if there's any questions, you can comment below and let me know if you need any help with anything like that. A lot of the girls take pictures of their models that they're doing, and I can kind of critique it that way. So maybe you need to add more eyebrows or blend the cheek color more or add more eyeshadow or whatever it is. So I can definitely do that. So this video is for reference to go back to when you're learning how to do your makeup and any techniques or tips that you might need a refresher on. So hopefully this will help you out. And yeah, it's a little bit later in the day that I wanted to do this, so the lighting's not the best, but hopefully I have the makeup light here. Hold on, sorry. Just trying to get it perfect so that it can, sorry, sitting here in the kitchen. Okay, I'm gonna put this a little bit more and hope that is better. A little bit. Okay. Well, let's see. So the first step, first thing is I'm going to be using our little black book of glam for the eyeshadows, and for my cheek colors we're going to use our Winter Nights palette, and then of course some of the other basics. So typically when I'm doing somebody else's makeup, especially if you're brand new, this is really important because when you're new and you're still learning how to apply makeup, what can happen is sometimes when you're doing your eyeshadow, sorry, like totally trying to mess with the light here. See if that's better, and it's not on my shadow. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so when you're doing your eyeshadow, sometimes you get fallout. So when you're doing your shadow, like I have nothing on my face right now, so I can just show you. Sometimes your shadow falls right here. So if you've done the person's foundation already, and then you get fallout, and then you try to, wipe it away, it can sometimes stick, and then that way it messes up your beautiful foundation. So if you're brand new, I would suggest starting with the eyes. If you're more experienced or you're really, really light with your application, I usually do everything else first and then my eyes last, but when I'm teaching other people, I always say start with the eyes. If anything does fall, and I'll show you this after, you can just take a fluffy brush and kind of wipe it away. So it usually works really good that way. So I'm just gonna quickly, like I said, do my makeup. So when I'm talking at my Aloette parties and I'm telling them what I put on the hostess and what I put on myself, this is basically what I use. So especially because it's winter time right now, Merlot's in the background eating her bone right near the bell, so sorry for the noise. So basically I mix the Luminous Tint Primer, because it's wintertime and your skin's extra dry. I mix the Luminous Tint Primer with a little bit of our Flawless together. Oh, this is a brand new one. I just opened it. My other one right out. So just a little bit of those. And I mix those two together, and then I use that as my base for my foundation. So I usually apply this everywhere. I always end up putting way too much on, but that's okay. So just blend that in. So primer, again, purpose, makes your foundation have something to adhere to, blends it out, especially the Flawless. If you have any redness, enlarged pores, fine lines, it's amazing for that. It is a booking bonus. So we always want to incorporate any bonuses into our makeup talk and use on the hostess so they can love it and then try it out if they haven't already. So this one's a really popular one, and it does last a long time. It lasts me over a year. So I love this one. I use this one when I do my bridal makeup as well. And I do often mix them together. So just blend it all in there. It's so weird doing it in front of a camera instead of my mirror, but hopefully we're good. Okay, that looks blended. Okay, so foundation. Before I put foundation, I always put a little concealer. So again, when I'm putting it on myself, I'll just use my finger because the warmth of my finger blends it right in. When you're applying it on someone else, use your Aloette brush to blend it in underneath. But you typically shouldn't need to do this if you're just doing your own makeup, but on everyone else, it's easier. Okay, so if you have any redness, I have like a random zit right here, so I'll just cover that a little bit. And if you have any other areas that you wanna blend, you can. So that's the concealer. Okay, the new foundation, I absolutely love this foundation. So the Be Picture Perfect. So it comes in 7 shades. So sometimes you're in between shades. So right now I'm in between the golden medium and the light tan. So I mix these together. But most often I've been color matching pretty good with just, you know, individual shades. So this is a 12-hour demi matte long wear liquid foundation. I absolutely love it. It lasts all day. It's, oh my gosh, hold on. I'm just gonna, Merlot. Come on, over here. In your cage. Come on. I'm trying to do a video and you're so distracted. Come on. Come. Come on. In your cage. Good girl. Sorry. She just did that in the first place. Okay. She's so loud. Okay, so I love this because it's a demi matte finish. So that means that it looks like your natural skin color, right? Or skin texture. So it's really real looking. It's not, it doesn't look like some of the really matte ones look fake because your skin naturally has some glow to it, right? And then especially with a little bit of the luminous tint underneath, it gives it a nice glow without it being super shiny. So this one's really nice. I don't need to touch it up throughout the day. You don't need very much, like I said, like half of a Skittle. So I personally take this. And the thing with makeup too that I always say is like, you know, it's an art. So there's gonna be other artists that do other things and other people that apply it different ways. And that's totally fine. There's no right or wrong with makeup. It's just what works for you. And this is the thing with practicing, right? So once you learn a certain technique or step and you practice it, you'll get better and better at it. So it'll be quicker too. You'll get way more quicker. So I always use our liquid foundation brush, the Mink Hair. I know it's getting discontinued soon. And I do usually use the Pro Precision brush if I have like an event or if I really want my makeup to be flawless. But day to day, especially because I find it a little bit quicker, I just use this one. So I just buff it into the skin in circular motions. And you just blend it. So I just, like I said, I just used those two to blend together. I just love the feel of this and it's full coverage without it being cakey at all. It's so nice. So just make sure you get around your nose, forehead. So if you're not sure how to color match your Hostess, you just take a little bit of the foundation and you blend it into the cheeks. You could do 2 or 3 lines and see which ones you find like blend in the most so that it doesn't look, if anything, go a little darker than the lighter one because the lighter one can make it look more chalky, especially if they have some freckles or any red undertone. So I'm just checking an actual mirror to make sure everything's blended instead of the iPhone or the phone. Okay. So everything's blended now. Okay, so then I have the Ultra Finish Powder Foundation. I literally just take the smallest amount and use that also underneath right here, just to set as like a setting powder because Aloette doesn't have really like a clear setting powder. So this one's good. It's got concealer built into it. And then I just take a little bit and I brush it onto my eyes as a base for my eyes. So that's what I do personally, and I usually do that for my hostesses as well because the Ultra Finish comes in your kit too. So if you were just doing your makeup for the products that you have in your kit and you don't have the Be Picture Perfect yet, that's fine. Use the Ultra Finish. So you would take the powder chisel brush and apply it the same way. But every other step is the exact same, okay? And then I use powdered eyeliner or mechanical. So for myself, I use the mechanical. So I like to just add a little bit underneath the eyes So when you're applying eyeliner, you always want to do like 3/4 of the way. You don't want to go all the way in because it's going to make the eyes look smaller. It's going to make them look more like beady. Unless your hostess or your customer that you're doing the makeup for, your client has, really large eyes, then sometimes it works, but most times about halfway to 3/4 will work, okay? So I personally just do the bottom. Some people look really nice with the eyeliner on the top as well. Same kind of rule applies. If you are doing, I find the powdered eyeliner looks really nice on the top, just more of a natural day-to-day look. So the thin angled brush from Aloette is great for that. So I'll show you how to do that afterwards. And then another tip as well. So for eyeshadow, so I typically go with the eye color of the hostess or the customer. So if my customer has, blue eyes, we don't really have blue eyeshadow, but if we did, I wouldn't put it on her. I would want something more of a contrasting color. So blue eyes look really nice with browns because it makes the blues of their eyes pop. So if you're putting a blue eyeshadow on a blue eye, the blue eye is competing, and then it won't look very nice. It won't pop. It'll dull the natural blue eye. So with any of the browns, those are really nice neutral colors, makes the eyes pop. Golds, purples, those are all really, really nice colors. Pretty much everyone looks good with those ones, so that's why I love the Little Black Book of Glam. It looks good on everyone, no matter what eye color or skin color. Brown eyes, pretty much anybody, we're lucky we can wear anything. It makes their eyes pop. Green eyes, definitely like golds and purples. Even ours like Sangria and the Rosé from our full makeup line from Aloette, and not just like the palettes. Those ones look really pretty. So again, this is why you want to practice, but just kind of stick with some basics. If you're new, pick your favorite 3 kind of shades that look good, and then just kind of use that until you get a little bit more comfortable. A rule of thumb that I have for eyeshadows is that I typically don't use all 3 of the same. So what I mean by that is I wouldn't put a shimmery eyeshadow as a highlight and then an all over color and then a contour, because you have basically 3 shades that we're going to do. We're going to do underneath the eyebrow as a highlight and all over base color, and then the contouring goes in the crease. So if you're using all 3 shimmery, it's just too much. So you want to balance it out with having some a matte in there, unless you want to do all 3 matte, but then that's a very, very simple, natural kind of daytime look. So I typically like to use the Road Trip as the highlight. So I'll put that again just underneath the eyebrow. Okay, so that just goes under the eyebrow, and so that you can see. So things that are highlighted make it pop out, and things that are contoured or darker colors bring it in. So then, what do I want to wear today? I might do purple on my eyes tonight just because I have kind of a gray color on, so I want to do, this one kind of matches. So I'll just do RSVP, which is a shimmer. So then we'll do a matte contour so you can see the balance. So this one goes all over the lid. And then also it's pigmented so you can see more. Our makeup is really pigmented, so which means you only see whatever the color you see. You only need 1 application typically, and it actually shows up on your eyes, which is nice. So you don't need to apply it 15 times to get the color, right? So when you are doing eyeshadow, like I was saying, I can't really see it. I don't think I have anything falling, but if you do, you can take your little brush that comes with your ultra finish powder, or you can take a bigger one and you can just go like this or on them to make sure anything doesn't fall. Okay, so then the contouring. So Aloette used to have a contour brush, so it was round and kind of looks like it was like circular. I have it upstairs, but anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't come in the kit anymore. So this one is the eyeshadow brush that you're going to be using for contouring. So because I did the shimmer, I'm going to do the one above it, the Valet, which is kind of like a darker purple. And so typically your eyeshadow contour goes in the crease. So if you think about it, it's like a sideways V. So that's kind of the area that you're gonna go into. If this totally confuses you and you're like, I have no idea what she's talking about, I'm not good at practicing this, totally fine. To do a day-to-day makeup look, you don't have to contour. This is more just an advanced skill. you could always, what you could do is keep it like this, like a medium shade, or even go a little darker and blend, make sure you blend it out with the shadow brush and a fluffier brush on the hostess and make their eyes pop with just 2 colors. So this is just, you know, if you wanted to practice it or if you're always wondering how to get that look. So you're gonna basically take it from the outside and go inwards and blend it. And then bring it down. So that's the sideways V. So that's where the contouring would be, okay? So that's the placement, and then you can go back in and blend it. So I use on myself when I'm doing really dark looks, of course, different brushes because these ones aren't the correct brush for the blending. This is more application. And for brushes as well, the more stubby the brush, the more it holds. So the fluffier the brush, the less product it holds. So if you're doing blush, you know, if you wanted just hardly anything on the brush, you wanted a really natural look, you would use this. But this one's a really good one because it's more dense and it holds more product, so you're gonna actually see more of the product. That's why for the Ultra Finish Powder Foundation brush too, it's like a thicker, it's like this but has more dense, because you're actually wanting it to cover, so you're putting more product on it. You wouldn't want to use this one for Ultra Finish, you would barely see, it would not be very much coverage, right? So same goes with these little guys too. So this one's a medium size, medium kind of dense, so it gets enough of the shadow on there, but it's not going to be as much as like if you had like a fluffy one, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I always have with me, I usually do my makeup in the bathroom, so I have a cloth with me. So I will kind of like take away any of the excess. And then that way you can use that same brush, and same with the hostess, you can ask her for a Kleenex. And then you're just gonna go back over it and blend it out so that it should never look like there's 3 lines. It should just always kind of blend, right? So then you're getting a little bit of the shadow. And if some people have more hooded eyes, so sometimes your hostess's eyelids kind of droop over the eyelid or the eye lashes. And when she opens, the contouring kind of gets sucked back in there and you don't see it, you could just have her open and you could just literally fake it. So you would put the brush over top of her lid, like that skin, to kind of fake where the crease is, to contour, okay? So that's what I do for my eyeshadow. Now I usually just fill in the eyebrow. So when I'm doing everyone else's makeup, they're usually lighter hair. I'll use the Aloette Oh Wow Brow palette. I have pretty dark hair, so I just use the Cocoa Couture, which is our full-time eyeshadow, but it's also, you can use it as eyeliner. So eyebrows are sisters, not twins. They're typically never symmetrical, and they're always, one's going to be a little different than the other. Keep that in mind. But also, I always recommend, again, if you're new to filling in eyebrows, to start with the middle, which is like the arch, because the most product that you're going to put on, so you would use a thinner angled brush. This one was our old Aloette actual brow one, so that's what I'd use. You can always use, of course, this one, the thin angled brush. But you always want to start in the middle because you're going to get the most, see how much pigment you're going to see the most there? So say the person has pretty thin eyebrows and then you start right here and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's too much. How do I blend it out? It's going to be harder. Whereas this, you can just take it from the middle and then go back and forth after to blend it, right? So that's kind of the easiest thing to do when you're starting off to do eyebrows. Start in the middle and then go from the top to the bottom, back and forth, just to blend it in. And you usually don't need very much, and it depends on the person how much they want to fill in their eyebrows, but typically you just want it to look really natural and just not sparse, right? So I usually fill them in a little bit more, but that's good for today. It's really natural. It's all good. Okay, then I do typically my mascara. So love A-List Lash. I hope they never get rid of this. I typically always do, so if you're, sorry, I was going to say too, I don't like to do my upper, unless I'm going out somewhere, or you know you're getting your picture taken, or the hostess is, you know, asked for like a darker look, smokier, then you can take the thin angled brush and you can add a little bit also to the lash line. So you're welcome to do that as well. That just kind of gives it a little darkness. And one of the things that I also talk about when I'm teaching makeup is that if whatever color you use as the contour, you can actually bring underneath as the underneath color. So I use that kind of purpley color, so you could use that underneath as well. And it just kind of blends it together, and it also gives it that extra pop, especially if it's a really pretty color like a purple or maybe even if they have brown or green or blue eyes and then you're just using the brown underneath, that's gonna make it pop a little bit more. So whatever color you're using underneath or as your contour, you would bring it down underneath. So that's another tip that I always talk about. Okay, mascara. Top and bottom typically, unless the person like hates having her bottom lashes, but sometimes they just don't know because they haven't even tried it really before, the look. So if you're not sure how to properly, apply someone's mascara, you could always wait till the very end, get your disposable wand, put it in the mascara and hand it to your hostess and say, okay, I'm done everything, last step is yours. You can go to the bathroom and they can feel comfortable doing their own mascara. That's what I did when I first started because I was 16 and I did not know how to do makeup, but then I got comfortable and you just blend. So I usually have them look up, do the bottom lashes, look down, and then do the top. So it's just really practice. Oh my gosh, I am not good at doing this in front of everyone. Hold on. So this one's really nice because it's buildable. However, when I'm doing my hostess's makeup, I typically do the intensity stretch or one of the other ones that have more buildingness, like thickness to it, because then you don't want to double dip. Like even myself, I have to double dip a few times. So obviously you can't do that when you're doing someone else's makeup, right? So you would want to use the wand and just kind of wiggle it back and forth to build up as much as you can so that it's just in one application and one wand, you're using that as the mascara. Okay, I'll go back in after and add more because I like it thicker. And this is just wasting time, but I just wanted to show you the steps that I do. Okay, I'll go back in after. So I usually go and back and I'll do a few more coats just so that it builds it up really nicely. So I'll do that afterwards. So that would be my next step. Okay, and then for your cheek colors, you're gonna go in with the Little Black Book of Glam, and you are going to start with a bronzer. So a bronzer is like kind of like a contouring-ish. And what happens is when you're placing your bronzer, you always wanna go, and you can have them do the fishy, underneath the jawline, or cheekbone, sorry, but like on the jaw almost, because that's gonna bring things inwards and make them look skinny. And bronzer is just a really nice, I always like it first because it just gives it a good base, it gives it a natural glow, and everyone just needs a little bit more color, right? So I use the Cold Snap that's in this one. Very pigmented, so you don't need very much of this one. And then I also usually will add a little bit to the top of the hairline as well. So I'll go back in, and sometimes I do that as well because the sun naturally comes and kisses the forehead and the cheekbones. If you're finding, again, it's too much, you can take your fluffy brush and blend it, or the brush that you just did the liquid foundation with as well. Okay. So that's how you would fix it. It's always easier to add more, it's always easy to, add more product than to put too much and then take it away. So that just looked a little bit more blendable. Okay, so bronzer first, then the Chinook. This is a really pretty light, kind of natural color. It looks good on everyone. Again, because there's a little shimmer in the Chinook, you want to use a matte blush, so you're not doing shimmer and then a highlight. So you would add that. I always tap off a little bit too. So this one's going a little bit more over top of the bronzer, so a little bit higher on the cheekbones. And it looks a little weird in the camera, but it looks really nice to have some cheek color. So this one's really nice. Again, if it's too much, you just take a little bit and you can blend it, but it looks really pretty in person. I can see in the mirror, it looks really nice. Okay, and then what's cool about this brush is that you can flip it over. I'm just wiping off some of the other excess. You just flip it over and you use your highlight, so the gingerbread, and you would place that just above where you would put the blush. So just a little bit on the tops. You don't want to put too much, you don't want it to be in too much because it'll make it, when you smile too, it'll look greasy, like oily. So you just want a little bit basically right here. It's just to give a nice glow. It looks hydrated, it looks dewy, it's it's fresh, looks good on everyone. If somebody was, again, when I do bridal makeup or something, if I was going out somewhere too and I knew I was getting my picture taken, take a little bit and put it on the end of your nose. It'll also add to that like glowy. So that's basically all you need to know for like a basic look. This is, again, something that the hostess wants to recreate it. So you don't want anything too crazy anyways, and then they're like, oh, that's great, I'll never be able to do that ever again, right? So just keep practicing with it and you'll get there, and let me know if you have any questions. I would just do a lip gloss or a lipstick as well as my last step. Most hostesses, I ask them if they're into lipsticks or if they would like a lip gloss. So most of them love our lip glosses. So I usually just pop the Rose Dust lip gloss over top of it, and then it's a complete look. Everyone, you want to look fresh. Oh, I almost forgot my last step, and the most important is our set and shield. So this one helps set the makeup and helps protect against the environment, and it just kind of mattifies the skin as well too. So about 8 to 10 inches away, just a few squirts, nice and refreshing, and you're good. Okay, so that's kind of the close-up. I have to just add more mascara, but you can kind of see what it would look like. Okay, so got the placement and some of the techniques now, so have fun practicing. Okay, hope this helped.